What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be messing around with the Subaru Crosstrek. Recently I noticed a little bit of white light gray smoke coming out of the tailpipe at initial startup first thing in the morning, and then it goes away immediately. This makes me think that there's a little bit of oil working itself from the PCV system into the intake manifold and down the intake valves, and I want to reduce the amount of that happening. So today I'm going to be installing the Crawford Performance Baja Air Oil Separator Kit, which should help with preventing excess oil going back into the intake, down the runners, and prevent chances of carbon buildup. So let's get started. A very nicely built piece. The ports are welded directly on the canister, so is the mounting bracket. Came with the 2 PCV hoses. Parts list. The install should be pretty simple, really. It's only 2 ports, one going to the intake manifold and one going to the PCV valve. Also came with one of their parts catalogs, and I actually just ordered a set of these power blocks. Hopefully that helps with getting a little bit more power out of the Crosstrek. First thing we're going to do is take off the intake pipe, which is just a flathead to loosen this clamp for the airbox and this clamp for the throttle body. You're also going to need to remove this hose from the intake, which involves using a pair of pliers to loosen that clamp. And then you should just be able to wiggle it off so that we can get to the top of the block and start routing some hoses. Now that we have the intake removed, we have access to the PCV. So there's just a hose that's gone to this port on the back of the intake manifold. Just pop that off the barb, and then this you can just twist right off of the valve itself. So just take this pipe off and set it off to the side. Next step is to install the 15-inch 3/8 PCV hose directly on the valve, and then fold it over and route it through under the piping, under the intake manifold, and have it come out the front side so that we can slide it on the bottom port of the can. Just by the look of it, to fit this in here, it does look like we have to bend this slightly out of the way for it to sit perfectly in place. Another thing I did notice though is the bottom port comes really, it's pointed almost directly at the alternator, so I might put the bottom hose on before I actually put this in place and bolt it on. tight fit, but got it. Next step is to route the longer PCV hose from the back port on the intake manifold, and then through the bottom side of the intake manifold, back up to the top. Does look like there's a lot of extra hose for the top one, but the bottom one was definitely barely long enough. It was a snug fit, so I am going to leave a little bit of slack on the top hose. I'm only going to trim a little bit off of it because I am planning on putting the Crawford power blocks under the intake manifold, which should lift this up like 2 inches. So I want to make sure that there's enough slack for both of the PCV hoses. So now I'm going to bolt the can in place, and I'm going to trim just a little bit of this hose and permanently install it. Add some zip ties to this and on the back port to make sure that the hoses are fully secure. The bottom one's super snug, so I have no doubt that that's not going to come off. Now we just got to reinstall the intake pipe. Most important parts are the 2 hose clamps, one for the air box and one for the throttle body. And reinstall the retaining clip on the intake manifold. Last thing is to reinstall this hose on that port on the intake pipe and tighten the clamp, and we'll be all done. If you found this video helpful in any way, do me a favor and hit that like button. And I just ordered a bunch of parts for the Crosstrek, so I'm gonna be installing a lot of things in the next few weeks. So if you wanna keep up with this project, like this kind of content, consider subscribing to my channel. But this is gonna be it for today. Thank you for watching.